Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, looking at the latest responses from the victim's family, including Noah's cousin and aunt, that have spoken out and given a piece of their mind towards the likes of Justin Roy, Michael Facekaz, and even one of the immediate family members, Noah's father, Victor Presgrove, has called the likes of Justin Roy out. So join me today as we take a look at those responses and how bold and negative the points are, which really do hit certain emotions within the case and sets a serious tone, as in how people have supposedly stepped over the boundaries and pushed on despite the family's wishes. And that doesn't sound like justice for Noah Presgrove. It sounds like a form of taking control. And maybe some people aren't in a position to be doing that. But nevertheless, I will be looking at it as a whole, as best as I can, with responses from the likes of Michael and Justin defending themselves and giving their version of things from their point of view, just so you get a bit more of a holistic outlook. Because of course it's important to look at it from what the family say, but you know, those said individuals like Michael, Justin, etc. should be able to defend themselves as well. So I'm going to show you that today, and any other little comments in between. Mention to do with Justin Roy and important video footage supposedly to do with the highway, but the questions about it unknown of, does it link to what others have seen or been shown, besides the whole Donna Bond situation and references there. But in terms of like Alicia Lee, Caden Pressey, has everyone seen the same thing in the background, or is there different footage out there? We just look at a bit of a backstory behind that today. Take in mind, just as a disclaimer, this video should have been done yesterday, but unfortunately due to technology, the recording's magically not working. I hit the record button, spent over 1 hour making the video, only then to finish off and then check my recording, and it only recorded 15 seconds. I didn't press any off buttons. I've no clue what happened. Really annoying. So I thought I'll do it today on a fresh day as best as I can. So hopefully people understand that. Welcome to those that are currently watching the live premiere. Share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. If you've got any additional comments, any questions after watching this video or on catch up, regardless, leave your comments down below. It will help with spreading awareness and I can respond back later. If you want to support the channel, there is a PayPal link down below, pinned message. And if you want to support and catch up on the rest of the case and follow up on previous videos you may have missed out on, don't worry, all of that coverage is available top right corner there where the eye symbol is for the full playlist. Without further ado, let's begin the video. To start things off, this is Robin Smith's response in regard to Michael Facekaz, and it's actually a comment attached with Ashley Chadwick's recent post on the Justice page, which we did take a look at a few days ago. Granted, at the time of when I did my recording, Robin hadn't posted at that time, but since, here's the comment, so I thought I'd acknowledge it right now. It's quite an important one, so feel free to listen in. I'll read it out. Robin Smith says, I'm not in the case discussion page or group, so I cannot respond to Michael Facekaz's ridiculousness there. So I will here. Michael Facekaz, I have never supported you nor shown any encouragement for your efforts. You are first and foremost a criminal and have some kind of agenda that, quite frankly, I don't understand. You are disrespectful and your behaviour is and has always been shameful when it comes to my family and what we are looking to do. You have been told to move along by numerous members of my family, yet here you are. You are deliberately being ignored by other family members of Noah Presgrove, and yet here you still are. You can tout yourself as some kind of saviour, some kind of hero all day long, but at the end of the day, you are someone who has pushed yourself onto a grieving family, and even after being asked and told repeatedly to back off, you continue. It's harassment at this point. It's not appreciated. So, of course, previously, It's mainly been Ashley Chadwick doing the talking and at times speaking on behalf of Robin and the rest of the family, but now to hear it from the horse's mouth of what Robin actually thinks, despite previous where it kind of looked like what Michael was getting at, and maybe some others, was a Facebook Messenger which showed what Robin was saying to Michael about the petition. It needs severe punishments. The wording of the petition also needs rewording, and the timing of when the petition is done in the social hosting, there's a place and time for it to hold off. And Michael said, okay, I will. But obviously, ever since, it doesn't look like one had held off because of pushing on with the likes of Noah's Project, doing an interview with KSW7 News, even though the family, or part of the family, weren't too pleased with it and got a piece of coverage or article taken down because they didn't consent to it, and Michael supposedly didn't ask Noah's family or certain family members. They were in the dark about it until it was too late and released. Now, for Robin Smith to say that Michael Facekaz is a criminal, I believe that's a reference to Michael's past history. I do believe Michael has acknowledged it himself, but he has also said that he's moved forwards in life and to become a better person. And granted, not everybody in the community will agree with that, but I'm just kind of roughly re-quoting what's been said previously. So Michael Facekaz having a criminal background in the past and record, Robin Smith acknowledging that, so research has supposedly been done there. For Robin to say, I've never supported you nor shown encouragement for your efforts, kind of makes sense to some extent, because Robin did say to hold off at the time of this social hosting petition. But in terms of agreeing with it and it needing to be done, Robin did support that. Robin did support Michael Facekaz in terms of the justice element and the severity of punishment needed to those responsible within the case. But at the end of the day, Robin did say there's a time and place. So there wasn't total support, but there was some acknowledgement at least. But, you know, to say that some family members have purposely ignored you. Michael has mentioned about the likes of Dalen, Presgrove, Madison Rawlings being on Michael's side with the social hosting, but that was in 2024. Of course, in between, things may have changed. Has Michael been in contact with Noah's family ever since? Been ignored or what? Just to see if it matches up with what Robin says here. Because, of course, in the background, Robin and Ashley are not immediate family members. However, family, there should be communication in the background, but still, we've seen some shaky waters in the past when it's come to details of some family members supposedly know Noah's items have been returned back, possession-wise, but then other family members like Robin Smith, Ashley Chadwick are still in the dark and believe that they've never been returned and are still missing. So if there is ever a breakdown in communication there, it could stem elsewhere, and I'm just making that as an observation. But nevertheless, it's very clear-cut what Robin has to say here about Michael Facekaz. Previously, we saw a comment, I think, by Ashley Chadwick calling Michael a liar, and Robin calling out Michael as some kind of acting like some kind of saviour, being some kind of hero, but it's not really the case. There's a level of harassment, and it's not appreciated by Noah's family. Moving on to the next slide, this is where, slowly but surely, Victor Presgrove starts calling out Justin Roy, and this is in recent time as well. So I'll just zoom in just a little bit to make it easier. Jeannie Cummings says to Victor, will you tell people to just stop? We are over here dying a little every day, not knowing what happened to our sweet Noah. People just stop speculating at what happened. Let the police do their job. Justin Roy responds, just showing where the majority of lies and rumours came from. And it was Donna Bond's house. Donna also claimed Victor and Caleb bought all the alcohol. She's a manipulator and liar. Now, there might have been some references on Facebook post by Donna in the past, maybe more so about Caleb bringing alcohol to the party or being present. I don't know about the likes of Victor's name being mentioned, but all I'll say is, if that's what Donna Bond has said previously, and the odd post on Facebook previously, and really applies or goes for anyone in the case or community, if anyone was to state that, Victor, Caleb, anyone bringing alcohol down to the party, is there any hard evidence of it to support it? Or is it just words? If it's just words, it's not good enough, is it? And in terms of if people have gone along with it, there's a responsibility on the community as well. Just like how there's a responsibility on the individual that spreads the possible misinformation in the first place, or actually creates misinformation in the first place. But is it misinformation or disinformation? Why would anyone make false or reckless claims about the likes of Victor, Noah's father, or Caleb, Jack's father, bringing alcohol down to the party? Is that to shift the blame of social hosting onto somebody else's responsibility to help others? How do you gain by making false claims? What's the point behind that? It just complicates the case. Victor Presgrove does say to Jeannie, hey, can you do me a favour? And when we move on to the next slide, Jeannie says, of course, and Justin Roy, we know they didn't buy the alcohol, and Justin seems to be in agreement and just saying, well, I'm making references to what other people have said as for misinformation. Victor Presgrove says in regard to, can you do me a favour? Please get off the army page. That page is nothing but lies, bullshit, and blame. They're all full of fake shit. And yes, it does suck for people to act like this. So for the army page to be called out in such a negative way by one of Noah Presgrove's immediate family members, the father, it speaks volume, does it not? It's not the first time. We had run-ins in the past when it came to the 1 year anniversary upcoming, when you had Tiffany Shepherd on the army page calling out Noah's family for supposedly not doing or caring enough in the case, or reflecting back on Noah, because Noah's family was going to do some kind of private thing to remember their Noah, but because it wasn't public and because there wasn't a big scale or acknowledgement online, Tiffany Shepherd was kind of getting at, as in, we care, we've done more than you, the family, and even Justin Roy has as well. It was a bit rude and poor timing and poor taste, and it kicked off all kinds of conflict. You had, I think, Robin Smith calling out Tiffany Shepherd for the donation money, but at the time Tiffany Shepherd donated as an anonymous donator, so obviously Robin wouldn't know who it came from, so one can't thank the other person when you don't know the identity. Clearly Tiffany didn't think that one through at the time or later. But besides that, Victor Presgrove back then in 2024, before the 1 year anniversary of Noah's death, made a reference to the army page and calling them out, saying, if anybody is over there, get the hell out of that page. It's no good. It's bad for the case. It's not positive. And ever since then, till 2025, Victor has stood by his words. So we've got a level of consistency there, and it's just not a good look. But besides that, Justin says to Jeannie, oh, I know they didn't, as in Caleb or Victor taking alcohol down to the house. But Justin says, but that's what Donna Bond was telling everyone, as in misinformation. That's what she does, stir up rumours and drama this whole time. Now, it applies to anyone in the case that does stir up rumours and drama. Absolutely problematic and no good to be doing that in any case. Causes confusion, waste time. But the question is, why do people do and act like that in the first place? How do people gain from being that reckless? Are they getting paid off? Are they benefiting in other ways? Are they doing it as a prank? Do they have some kind of sadistic thoughts? It's very weird, but it happens in many cases out there, and I can't stand those type of people or behaviour, and I'm talking in general about that, not about a specific person like what Justin is. But what I will say is, whilst Justin may be passing on this and that and highlighting and spreading awareness of rumours and possible misinformation by tracing it back to who's supposedly responsible, isn't there a certain responsibility in which you as an individual, when listening to Donna Bond or listening to somebody else, that you listen but you don't show compliance? Or you show a bit of compliance, but you don't show internalization. You don't get brainwashed. You don't get indoctrinated. I think Like, yeah, you trace it back to the source, the root of all problems, the one that created the misinformation or disinformation in the first place. But then, as for everybody else, fully grown adults that can think for themselves and make their own decisions should be able to listen but not be easily pleased, because it seems like there's a lot of yes men, yes women in this case community that will just simply nod their heads, not question it, not ask for evidence, just go along with it, and then it spreads. That's damaging as well. Jeannie says, will do, as in leaving the army page. Victor says, I'm not telling you what to do in regard to whether you stay or not on the army page, but you're on there. Just think of it as a place where stupid people come together and form their R-word opinions, kind of like watching a bad skit from SNL. So basically, the army page, in the eyes of Victor, is a joke of a community. It does no good. Misinformation, damage, blame, fakeness, and stupid people are on the army page. What does Justin have to say in regard to Victor? Well, I would definitely agree in the past. This specific post was only showing where the majority in lies were coming from, and that was Donna Bond's house. That was the only reason for the post, so I apologise if you took it the wrong way. And Victor is having none of it. He responds to Justin, what do you mean take it the wrong way? This army page is full of dog shit. And from what I have seen, you're over it. You're allowing people on here to bash me. It's no better than Donna Bond. Okay, so Victor's acknowledging Donna Bond, but also saying Justin Roy is no better, because if Justin is a part of a Facebook page or group and kind of allows this and that, no better. But what we need to acknowledge first of all is Justin Roy backtracks on himself as a means to save his face and to try and maintain good books with Victor. Interesting how Justin Roy, which some people call old Roy Boy the dog, and even Victor called the army page a dog, which is interesting, that, you know, you become submissive. It seems like Justin Roy becomes a little submissive when he has to please someone, or he needs or wants to be in somebody's good books when he chooses or sees fit. But then other times when it's not really needed as much, it's like, oh, well, I don't need to act in some ways. I can just be on the fence about it. But, oh, when it's the victim's family or maybe higher authorities, oh, tones it down a little bit, backtracks a little bit. And what do I mean by that? Is because Justin Roy has been very protective, passionate about the army page. He's turned a blind eye already in the past when I mentioned about I witnessed other people on the army page, individuals boldly stating with zero evidence back in 2024, saying that Jack Newton was the murderer, was responsible for Noah's death, hands down. People on the army page were stating it as an absolute fact with absolutely no evidence. And when I brought that up, Justin Roy said to me immediately, oh, we don't allow that. That doesn't happen. I've never seen that. Sounds like you're turning a blind eye, turning the other cheek, protecting your own in an unnatural way, playing the dumb card. I've seen it with my own eyes. Anyone and everyone watching in the live chat right now, as a witness, tell me if you saw the same thing on the army page where certain members were stating as a fact Jack is the murderer to Noah Presgrove's death. Have you seen it yourself? I have. Justin seems to have never seen or experienced it. But you'd think he would have if he's so active and present at the time. Maybe it's turning a blind eye. So besides that, and in the past it being a little wonky and unstable, Justin Roy basically is saying, yeah, in the past, the army page was a complete mess. I absolutely agree with everything that Victor says, as in Justin Roy's words. So basically, Justin, who defends his own group and defends his own people, is now turning against his own people and group and page as a means to save himself and his character in the hands or in the name of Victor Presgrove. Victor Presgrove basically says stupid people come together and form their R-word opinions on that page, and that it is fake, and there's blame, and there's misinformation. And Justin, who's defended that page for so long, basically says, hey, Victor, I absolutely agree with what you say about it, including stupid people on that same said page, which I'm a part of. But anyway, that was in the past.
Right. Protective in the past, but now throwing people under the bus. It's not a good look. You got a member, a leader, a key person on a page, and for all this time you've defended that page, and all of a sudden now you kind of backtracking and saying, well, you know what, back then, yeah, it was a bit shit, wasn't it? Yeah, there were idiots on that page and there was lots of fakeness and BS, and it was a mess back then. I absolutely agree with you, Victor. Even though all this time before that I was actually defending the page and praising people, but now I'll go against it all just for the sake of what, being in Victor Presgrove's good book. It just sounds a bit like a little submissive behaviour, and Victor just doesn't take any of it, simply calls Justin out. So it's quite interesting. And besides that, Justin says, I have never allowed anyone to bash you. This was literally in the past, just showing where it came from, actually where all the rumours came from. Why does it need to be brought up over and over again? If the rumours are rumours, they've been squashed, they've been cleared, awareness has been spread, that's what matters. I understand that from Justin Roy's point of view. But then if it gets dragged up anymore afterwards, what good does that do? It's a bit of a broken record. But for Justin to say, I've never allowed anyone to bash you, Victor, who knows? But it's similar how Justin has made references in the past. I've not allowed, or I've not seen anybody mention any statements without any evidence highlighting Jack as a murderer, but I saw it with my own eyes as a witness. I saw the comments. So, bit of a blind eye. Besides that, we got Joyce Bergow says, Justin Roy told me that he had seen a video back in October 2023 in Messages, Facebook, and has told me on the phone it was the same video Donna Bond had seen on September the 6th, 2023. So I'd like to ask, well, if it's the same video supposedly that Donna Bond has seen, I'm guessing it's to do with the highway, and it's to do with Noah's body on the highway at a certain time onwards, in which it shows Noah's body naked and no shoes on. Interesting, that's what I'm guessing. The questions which Joyce asked, number 1, what date and time did Justin Roy view this video? Question 2, who showed him the video and where was he shown it? As for the location and environment, where was he at to see that video? Question 3, what specifically did the video show? Who was in it? Placement of Noah or any other details that stood out? Number 4, did he immediately notify Noah's family about this video, where he saw it, who showed him, and what was on it? Question 5, did he contact the LE to verify the video had in fact been turned in? Question 6, who did Justin Roy all describe this video to and telling them that he saw it? And question 7, is it the same video Alicia Pressey, also known as Alicia Lee, and Caden Pressey saw? Then below, Justin Roy claims he's 95% certain on what happened. To be this confident, I feel he must know more than, he has shown on social media publicly. If he has evidence and facts to be 95% certain as to what's happened, then shouldn't Ellie have the same information to work on, and then some? If looking for answers, why not share? We know the family doesn't have to discuss anything with anyone, which I don't blame them. They don't owe any of us an explanation, along with the partygoers. His family just wants the answers, the victim's family. I'm not doing this out of retaliation against Justin Roy, but more so of trying to get answers for Noah's family. It seems he's held onto so much information. I've spoken with someone that he told he had seen the video, but then confessed at a later time to the same individual that he did not see the video. Please just answer as to whether he has seen the said video. So if Justin has said at one point, I've seen the video, and then later says, I haven't, what's the whole point about that? Discrepancies, just as bad as people in the case then. And this is the conversation, I believe, is the blue box is Joyce Bergow, and then the grey box is Justin. October 19th, 2024 at 7:16 a.m. So it's in the past, a past conversation, but at least we got the timestamp. Joyce says, what was in October 2023 when the video was turned in? And Justin says the video was turned in to LE. They have it. Now, how significant is that video? For it to be back then, what's happened since? Has much transpired? We've not seen any arrest, so maybe it's not that important, that video, or maybe it's just a part of the case investigation slowly going on in the background. Joy says, okay, you believe there's a video, correct? I mean, from footage we've seen, it's definitely something. And Justin says, Joyce, please between us only and do not share. Well, that aged well. But I saw the video in October 2023. This is one reason I know for 100% fact was not a hit and run. This is one reason I have been fighting this hard, even when Robin and Ashley and Victor Presgrove attacked me the way they did. That hit and run was staged. Ellie is working on this. Okay. For 100 fact was not a hit and run. So the typing's a bit dodgy. But, to say, oh, we know from that footage it's definitely not a hit and run. The police have already ruled it out, though. And that was early on. So that should be good enough, regardless of this so-called video on the sideline. But the theme of a staging of a hit and run is interesting. But let's just continue on. Begao says, okay, thank you for clarifying. I will not share. I believe you. Thank you. I never wanted to see that. Let me know what I can do to help more. Everything I do now I can't share, as I've promised you and others who have told me things. Just like with Chris Guy, can't mention. The Chris Guy's, I believe the one that was driving down that highway, hit something, which turned out to be a hog, or thought it was a hog, called into police. Something along the lines of that, but didn't really transpire to anything. Now, besides that, Begao says, was this done before the Tylers or after? And I think what Joyce is referring to there is this video that was recorded. Was it taken before or after Tyler and Tyler Hardy was on scene? I believe. Justin says in response, it was actually before those people. Be careful with false rumours, though. Spreading very fast. I know 95% what happened, for definite, and agree Ellie should have this case solved by now. Yes, let's do not mention Chris at all or anything else, but keep up the good fight. You've been doing great. Obviously, Begao and Justin Roy don't get on well anymore. This is why it's an old conversation, hence why they get on better. But what I will say is, if this video footage of before Tyler Hardy arrived, earlier on, probably just after Caden had left, though, if we're basing it off Caden's timeline as well, well, it comes across as if Noah's shoes, if it is the same footage which Donna Bond supposedly had seen and Justin had as well, that would be to do with the description of Noah naked and no shoes. So after Caden had left the highway, and that's when the supposed tampering took place. Okay, shorts removed, naked body, I get that. So for Tyler Hardy to come on down and see that, I get that. But the shoes, well, that was described as Noah was wearing a pair of mismatched shoes. If in between all that, before wearing shoes, after wearing shoes, but in the middle, not wearing shoes and naked as well. What the whole point of that is. Bit weird. Hopefully people understand where I'm coming from there. Well, Begao says, when I do hear things that I haven't heard before, I do try to ask clarification. I have my daughter's profile in the Sofa Sleuths page, so I've been watching in there. Brooke Bounce, Carter, Stevie Howard, and all of them have been quiet except their minions fighting for them. So obviously, back in the past, Joyce Begao would have been cautious and skeptical of, the dark side, the Sofa Sleuth people. But things do change with time. Take in mind, this is old conversations. Relations and connections have changed. Some have broken down, others have strengthened elsewhere. That's why it's important to look at the timestamps and dates. Normally, we don't always get that chance. Besides that, yes, Ellie should have solved by now, but I believe they're just waiting for the right time. And Justin says exactly, what worries me the most, my son still goes to school with these kids, plays football with them. Like, why not get this over with already? School as in high school, not college? Which particular kids? And are they really kids? Which ones exactly at the time of the age? Were the adults or getting close to adult age, 2024, back from 2023? I know in 2023 you had some party goers that may have been 16 or 17, so by 2024 would have been close to 18 onwards, but probably towards the end of high school or approaching college, and Justin's son is with those type of people, which I guess is considered by Justin's tone as a bad influence, not safe to be around. So what does that link to Justin Roy indirectly highlighting that those same said kids are the same people from the party that are killers? Maybe, I don't know. Walking free, dangerous, it's not fair. Begao says, I'm sorry, I wish they would do something. I worry for guys having to be around them. It's a shame for your hometown and my home county. Just being from Ryan and knowing this is happening around, it's so ugly. One more question. Is there really a beating video as well of Noah? Justin says, I've seen 2 videos, but both of them were not of Noah. And maybe what Justin is referring to there is one of which where some random person or people shared it on Facebook. May have been a TikTok video. It was old, it was dated, it was before 2023, a different party with completely different people, but there was a fight at night time and someone was getting beaten up. It was not Noah Presgrove, but people were falsely claiming it was. What good did that do? It caused a lot of confusion and I guess a lot of drained hope, like a roller coaster ride. Don't know what the other video was. Justin says, but I did hear that something has won, so I do not know on that. Right. Moving on towards the end of the screenshot conversations. Oh, but I did hear that the LE has won video. What, of a beatdown? Bergow says at the time, okay, Dina Rose brought up about the beating one, so wasn't sure on that. And you know who the law enforcement people were? I'm betting one is Cash Alsop, the same Dinglebay that got caught with the photo. Caught with the photo, what does that mean, Joyce Bergow? Caught with the photo, as in 2025, the restroom camera stored in the aircon? Or do you actually mean that Cash Alsop was caught taking a photo of Noah's body on the highway? Which one is it? As for clarification, feel free to leave a comment down below. Justin says, I can't talk about that, lol. Interesting. But the reference to Dina Rose at the time that was alive previously, no longer alive anymore, was quite vocal about the beatdown video and the details regarding Noah, and there's like multiple guys all over Noah beating him down, kicking and punching and everything. Never saw any hard evidence of it. Seemed like a hype train which went flat and very, very reckless. Regardless, it was reckless. In regard to Cash Alsop, being a part of the law enforcement, I thought Cash was just volunteer firefighter or chief volunteer firefighter. Granted, this is in the past, so maybe some people didn't know who Cash was or what his role was, and we've learned about it since. It's an old conversation, just take that in mind. Bergow says, I know, I'm just saying I think he's probably one though. I mean, he was one at the scene when Tyler's were there and was caught about other photos. Anyway, thanks for chatting. So if Cash Alsop did take any photos of Noah's body, where are those photos now? Were they handed in to police? Did Cash get in trouble or what? Besides that, Michael Faze Kaz did do a response in regard to the situations with the likes of Robin Smith, Ashley Chadwick, and anybody else commenting in recent time on the case discussion page. And Michael says, there is an active smear campaign against myself and Justin Roy. Neither one of us have ever lied or said anything we did not believe to be true. And if we have made mistakes, they were immediately corrected. Neither one of us have made money or profited off of Noah's case. We have zero motive to lie. I do feel that we are being used as pawns in some sick, twisted way by some people close to this case. That's quite bold. Use your own judgment, trust your intuition, do not follow others blindly. This can often be a lesson to often learn the hard way. So, I know people aren't perfect in a case or community, and that could apply to anyone, but some people do have better standards than others and more control over us. When it comes to Justin Roy supposedly not making any mistakes or not lying or messing about, well, wouldn't be exactly true, because Justin Roy falsely accused me of attacking the army page, falsely accused me of spreading misinformation, when you look back to the video that I did at the time, I was reading comments, not what I was saying, but what other people were saying, and it was proven in the transcript when it said word for word that, I don't know if I believe in that. Do you have any evidence to back it up? Justin didn't use that screenshot. He was sent another screenshot which only showed half of the story, and Justin rolled with that. He was easily pleased by an out of context screenshot, so I had to step on in, do a follow-up video and clear it up. Same way how Justin Roy worded his nephews in the same line and sentence as Caden Pressey, as in never been interviewed. Of course, we know, Justin knows that Caden had been interviewed, but in terms of the sentence structuring, Justin worded it absolutely poorly. And in terms of just admitting he messed up and apologising, Justin decided not to. Instead, Justin decided to get all cocky with his wording and start whinging and whining, throwing his toys out the pram. And furthermore, in between, Justin Roy has apologised to me in the chat. But you know what he did the next day or so? He started going on Facebook, talking behind my back, calling me out, whinging and whining and insulting. Justin Roy was also a part of agreeing and encouraging a call to arms in getting my videos reported and taken down from YouTube. I saw the screenshots and proof of that. It's absolutely embarrassing. Justin Roy is in no position to be there. So I can understand Michael looking out for Justin, but Justin has messed up badly. In terms of Michael Faye's Kaz, in some ways Michael is a better person than Justin, as in regard to acknowledging when my videos are more balanced, or at least there's a level of balanced nature, unbiased. I know recently Michael Faye's Kaz said on a couple of occasions, "Thank you for your unbiased coverage." So it's good of Michael to appreciate that and acknowledge it. Same can't be said about Justin, because Justin has been jumping in at the deep end, falsely accusing me of being unbalanced and biased when I've been covering it from multiple perspectives. It makes no sense that, but that's Justin's reality and mindset. It's a shame Justin can't think the same way as Michael when it comes to acknowledging a balanced video. Now, I have had some run-ins with Michael Faye's Kaz, but I can't remember it on the spot. But what I do know is how Michael may have acted or what he said in regard to me or around the subject of me. It was unnecessary. And I did respond back. I did tell Michael Faye's Kaz off as a bit of a naughty boy, but it seemed like things were ironed out to an extent. But besides that, it's just important to acknowledge what's mentioned here. Besides it, Justin Roy does add on with his thoughts for commentary in the reply section. Michael, absolutely great post, thank you. I will not go into detail of anything on here, just read the screenshots. I have no reason to lie about any of this. Absolutely sick of the attacks from some of these people. Joyce Bergow literally makes a post and knows the answer to her questions. Ask yourself, why would she do that? Yes, the family knows about the video, I guess the highway one. Ashley Chadwick was at the same meeting at Donna Bond's house I was at. Also, Robin was told via a direct message. Now, have we seen Ashley Chadwick or Robin acknowledge about this video? Not to my knowledge. Interesting. And why is it all to do with Donna Bond's house, Ground Zero HQ? I know Donna is supposedly a local, may know some things, but out of, all the other locals in the area, why does Donna Bond stick out the most? Why does it orbit around meeting at that place? Were there no other locals that were on the inside knowing of stuff? I wonder. Anyway, Jen says, also, to be completely honest, I believed everything Donna has told me. She told me she had LE connections. She has publicly stated she was a CI, whatever that means, at one time, and had connections. So I felt she had no reason to lie. Just like how Justin Roy previously said, well, George Choden said he was a part of the Canadian police enforcement or law enforcement, and I believed in it just in his words and no proof and evidence. So I opened up and I shared sensitive material and all kinds of comments, and now he's using it against me and I feel stabbed in the back. At the end of the day, Justin Roy is a fully grown adult with much experience and done a lot in life, and yet he's so easily pleased by people just stating words as facts and not showing evidence, which isn't a good reflection on the case as a whole and being a part of a community or page which is for justice and clarity. If you're easily pleased and sided by people that may say false stuff and you believe in it, you need to strengthen yourself, be cautious, question, listen, acknowledge, be respectful, but you don't have to go along with it completely. You don't have to completely fall for it. Yeah, someone might seem genuine, someone might seem nice and caring, but are they really? You've always got to be a little bit cautious and patient just in case the ball drops and they slip. Justin had failed to do that. But it's not just Justin. It's not all about Justin or criticisms there. There's other members of the general public that have messed up as well, and we've already acknowledged that, okay? Besides it, Justin says, but something big changed in Donna. In May of 2024, she claimed Tim Howard came to her house and assaulted her. I have all those messages, yet no charges were ever filed. Very slowly, I started to see Donna's fight for no decline and diminish. And now she literally does not post anything about him anymore. She used to post the truth and justice for Noah every day. Now it's been months with nothing. Now, things could happen in real life. I do remember there was some screenshots or court documents to do with Donna Bond and Carter Combs and some kind of protective order in place for Carter Combs' own safety, a party goer, Jack Newton's girlfriend. And it was to do with Donna Bond stating stuff on Facebook which wasn't exactly true or bold of Carter Combs, and it wasn't deemed as good or acceptable. And attempts were made to delete those posts and hide it. And the police acknowledged that, you've been doing that, you've been hiding it. But besides that protective order, was that dropped as well? And that's why people are questioning the change in attitude and mindset. Of course, you're free to go from the light side to the dark side and vice versa. To believe Caden's truthful and then to go against it and be cautious. To believe in murder and then think it's accidental. There's nothing wrong in that, but some people overreact and misunderstand. But of course, if you're really tense or at heads with one another, at throats, at ends with one another in a tense, dark way, you've been attacked or you're getting resistance, you're being shut down, you're being threatened with police action or court action, and then all of it just magically disappears or goes quiet, and now you're best friends with them, there is cause for concern. How much does it apply here with Donna? Who knows? But Justin supposedly has proof of it. All I would say is, you can be at heads with one another and then you might improve relations with one another and then it gets better and more positive. But, if things have been dropped in the background and ironed out, is there any other additional context? Moving on. We've seen this one a few weeks ago. Jan and Michael Facecast got into several big arguments, and then Jan and Pam both asked me to choose sides and pretty much gave me an ultimatum. I told them, just like Donna and Joyce, I do not choose sides in members' arguments. I stay neutral, and the only side I'm on is the truth and justice for Noah. Well, they did not like that, and now Jan, Pam, Donna and Joyce with Becca Ann and George on the side who have set out to discredit me and somehow make out for me to be a bad guy and a liar. What I would say is it seems to be picking and choosing when Justin Roy remains on the fence and when he doesn't. That Justin Roy is willing to throw his own community and members under the bus for the sake of saying about the past and writing it off as, you know what, Victor, what you say about our page and community being full of, with the R word, and idiots and fake news and BS and lies and anything else in between and blame. Oh yeah, that's true, Victor. Yeah, that was true in the past. Trying to iron things out with Noah's immediate family member, father, whilst at the other times not siding with other people, picking and choosing when and when not, which isn't great. Anyway, I've never just made up anything. All of my information has come from Partigo's news media podcast, LE Medical Professionals Family, or Donna's House. So if anything I've ever said turns out to be a made-up story of a lie, that's where it came from. So basically, Justin Roy is absolutely not admitting any accountability whatsoever, even if he does spread it, even if he does easily get pleased by somebody that has no evidence but just hears the words, nods the head like a good boy, yes sir, and then moves on and then spreads it or shares it, and then when it falls back, fires back, it's like, well, don't blame me, don't shoot the messenger, I'm not the one to blame, I'm not the problem. Yes, I was easily convinced by someone without any hard evidence and I just trusted them and took their word for it, but by the way, I'm not to blame for it, even though I should have a responsibility myself to think and act accordingly and onwards. But by the way, they're to blame. Oh, that person's to blame. So Justin Roy has basically set himself up to basically play the blame game, blame everybody else but himself and not take accountability, which is disappointing, right? Because what about Justin Roy when it came to him passing it on to me as a form of confidence and evidence that, oh, here's JJ Bumpass, here's a TikTok page, and it absolutely backfired that, and it kind of discredited me at the time, and that was because of Justin Roy, and then Justin said, well, don't be really blaming me, it actually came from Kaylee, True Crime Deep Dive 333. Already had it in place to pass the books on to somebody else, and even if somebody else is to blame, it's just that instant defense mechanism of, not me, it's somebody else to blame. It's not good behaviour, it's not a good look in general in life. But besides that, John says, everything I've gathered the last 20 months led me to believe Noah was met with foul play and staged on the highway, make it look a hit and run scenario. Hit and run was ruled out very early on by police, of course. So ask yourself, why do certain people keep pushing the narrative of hit and run? Well, I can agree with that because there was a time and place in 2024 when specifically the likes of Stevie Harrod was pushing the hit and run even when the police have ruled it out. And I was thinking, why are you still pushing it that way? It didn't make sense. And maybe Jack Newton pushed it as well. But Jack also mentioned about the possibilities of a semi-truck, the mirror clipping Noah's head, or Texas boys somehow being responsible. So it's very interesting that Jack did look at it from other perspectives as well, but Stevie was quite adamant on hit and run up to a certain point, even when it was ruled out by police. So that is the little standout point which didn't quite make sense. But as for other people, I didn't really see him pushing it the same way, but maybe I didn't see the screenshots. Why do they use private screenshots out of context and not share the whole messages? Justin Roy, you have used or you have shared or enabled screenshots out of context, just like how you did with a screenshot of a transcript from my video in which you were claiming and falsely stating with your own agenda that I was attacking the army page and spreading misinformation about Melissa LeQuay, but I wasn't the one stating it. It was actually in the words of other Redditors online spreading misinformation, in which I responded back with, I don't believe it yet. I need to see evidence as proof, and there was none provided. That's how my transcript went. And when I responded back to Justin saying, you got it wrong, you misunderstood it, and Justin's like, well, no, it wasn't me. I didn't get the screenshot. I didn't take the screenshot. Somebody else passed it on to me. Right, so passing the blame on elsewhere once again. Passing on the buck, Justin Roy. That should be a new nickname, that. Anything else? What do you have? Everything to go ahead. Joyce made a post on the case discussion page in which she knew them all the answers to. Ask yourself why. Family is very aware of the video from Donna's house, yet Donna was supposed to share all of her information with the family and never did. Did Donna never share her information with the family? Why would that be the case? Why would that happen? Bit weird. Justin says, I'm going to take time off from the case, but as we know, likely in a few days' time, Justin will return back completely refreshed and like a broken record, or says stuff on and on. This is what I mean. If Justin's going to stay true to his words and retain his credibility and who he's all about and his character, if you're going to say you're going to take time off, take time off. One, for yourself, to help yourself and to stay true to your words. Because if you can't follow through with your own words, it doesn't look good upon yourself as a reflection. Besides that, we have seen a screenshot as well. It's just a duplication. And that appears to be it. So be sure to let me know in the comments section, do you think it was justified for what Victor Presgrove had to say about Justin Roy and more so the army page? Do you agree with Robin Smith's take on Michael Facecast and even what Ashley Chadwick has previously said as well? And if you want to add on to your thoughts of what Michael's had to say in regard to defending himself and Justin Roy and not making mistakes or not messing up, and if anything was done, corrections made, I would agree and acknowledge to some extent that Michael Facecast has made edits along the way. So if he slipped up with a post, a spelling, mispronunciation of a name, etc., making corrections afterwards or later. I don't know about everything though, but some little adjustments along the way. What I do need to acknowledge when it comes to Michael Facecast, if he mentions about, I've got a screenshot to share with you, just as a heads up, here's a bit of research, here's a bit of material. I think 9 times or 10 times out of 10, Michael Facecast has said, here you go, here's the material, just trying to help. And maybe other people may say, there's a bit of an agenda, but all I can say from my observations, it's good of Michael Facecast to just simply say, here's the material, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and follow through with it. And you can use it. That's a big positive. Unlike Justin Roy, that will appear out of nowhere erratically with lots of screenshots, bombard you with it, expect you to learn about it all on the spot, like reading through the Bible, like that. Oh, we've learned all the verses now. Thou shalt not whip 3:16 wrath. Oh, sorry, I got mixed up with my raptures then. But besides that, trying to understand it all, bit too much, bit too chaotic. Oh, don't do this, don't do that, Raf, don't post this, don't post that, keep that private, keep this private. And guess what? 10 times out of 10, it was kept private, it wasn't shared, it wasn't leaked. And yet Justin Roy, other people who he's come across, maybe Joyce Began, maybe George Choden, and maybe other people, those people that had a reason to share the screenshots later, which I do understand to some extent, but what I'm trying to get at is Justin Roy, for the way Justin to treat me, and yet I'm probably one of the few people in which I've never shown screenshots from Justin onwards, when Justin has requested for them to be private, to not be shared. I did not share them. And yet Justin, who he's reached out to with other people, that did share, did leak, did post, reveal onwards, went against Justin's wishes. So even when Justin treated me badly, spread misinformation about me badly, encouraged for my videos to be taken down from YouTube and falsely reported, in the background, I still never stabbed Justin Roy in the back, despite how badly he's treated me. I've never stabbed him in the back in that way, and I've not leaked screenshots, at least directly from, his point of view, directly in the conversations. So that's what separates me from other people, and yet Justin is unable to acknowledge that, which is extremely embarrassing and disappointing. But besides that, at least with Michael Facecast, here's a screenshot, here's that, check it out and go for it. I know people have said with Michael, he's dodgy with the links, the link grabs and the
hacking and all of that. All I can say is, from my experiences, for most part of it, I've never received a link to click on from Michael, which is a positive. All it's been is a screenshot here and a screenshot there. Use it if you want, and so on. And when I said to Michael about, yeah, we got the screenshots, that's okay, but I want to do a raw video, my thoughts, my opinions, just so you know where I'm at with the social hosting. What did Michael do? Thumbs up, agreed, same wavelength, simple as, no conflict, no pettiness in the moment at least. It's a shame Justin can't be more like that, because Justin doesn't seem to be pleased as much nowadays. Oh, use this screenshot. Oh, use the full context. Okay, that's what I'll do, but I'll do it in a balanced way. Oh, that's not good enough, Raf. Not good enough. You missed this out. You missed it out. Wow. Throw the toys out the pram. Not good. Of course, as I said, I've had some run-ins with Michael in very unnecessary ways previously, but in recent time, Michael has been on better behaviour, which is a positive, but that does not mean the red carpet treatment is rolled out. And of course, who knows what goes on in the background with people, because there might be people out there that might be okay or neutral with me, but elsewhere, other things could come about. So I'm not completely blind. I am aware and sense it to some extent, and it's in the back of my head. But besides all of that, it's just an interesting time with what's going on and what the family have had to say, and even from the horse's mouth, and even the likes of Victor Presgrove, it does speak volume. It doesn't look good on other people. You let me know what you think down below. My name's Raf. I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.